I think we should kick off.
Yes, Vinay, you can start and then we'll continue. Not a problem. You can set the context.
21 attendees who've been very kind to take time off their Saturday afternoon. Thanks for joining in. We sincerely hope that it's going to be a very exciting and discussion-filled session. A lot of opinions. We hope that it'll be interactive. Krishna will be our Sutradhar. He's going to be, he's going to run the show, put in the questions where required, get opinions of people and so on. So I think without further ado, I think it's an important topic. Sales incentives has been, has affected all of us in some form or fashion. So I think it's good that we got together to discuss and thrash the topic out. If we learn something out of the session, fabulous. If we can take something back to our respective organizations, even better.
Yeah.
So having said that, back to Krishna. To you, sir.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much that it all started with one question that Akanksha put it on our SES board. And that's how the entire thing came out of this. Okay, it's wonderful to put some questions like this and the debate starts on this. Just to get all of you, can I request all of you to start participating in the poll? Can I request all of you to please put your thoughts on how many years of experience in sales? Everybody can put 0 to 5 years, 6 to 15, 25, whatever it is there, just to get to know all of you. We've got 25, just a 30-second poll. Okay, we have got super response. 17 people have responded. Can I request others to do? Okay, that's fantastic. 20. Let me share you the poll. The poll result says it's about 42% have got 15%, 15 years, 6 to 15 years of experience. You collectively look at it, we have got more than about 600 years of rich experience in this meeting. Such a wonderful, rich experience sitting in one place, you won't get anywhere there. Okay, and that's what we'll say. We'll utilize this on this. Okay, let me get something more to know about this participants days. Okay, if the age is only a state of mind, which category describes your state of mind now? A cheeky child, enthusiastic teenager, midlife, mad midlifer, and a fashionable grandparent. You can put whatever it is there. So let's understand how your mood is there today. Okay, so we got 12 participating. That's wonderful. Okay. Let's see, 18 of them have participated. One more, 19. 10.
Will not go.
Okay.
Okay. There will be some survival amongst them.
That's wonderful. Let me share you the result. We have got 100% only enthusiastic teenager and mad midlifer. My request is you can also become a cheeky child in this discussion and throw your questions there so others can pick up and answer this on this. Okay, that's wonderful to have you, a lot of wonderful enthusiastic teenager. Okay, that's what I'm sharing you the results of this. Okay, so you have 100% people. There is no grandparent here. There is no cheeky child here. But I want you to bring the childish curiosity within you so that you can participate very well on this. Let me ask you, yeah.
Grandparents, Krishna.
Yeah. And there is a third poll that I wanted to know. What kind of a participant you would like to be? Okay, can I request you to please do that? Share your experience, listen to others, not decided, enthusiastic participating, ask interesting question, just others' knowledge that can also be there, and curious participant, whatever you want to do. So we get a feel of what kind of participants we want to do on this. Yeah. That's very good, fantastic. We've got 16, 17, 20. One more, we end the poll because it's just a quick. Okay, wonderful. Let me share you the result to all of you. There are about 53% of the people only want to listen to others. What a wonderful crowd is this. Okay, is this acceptable to all of you? Please share, no problem, no audio, no mute, no unmute. All of you can unmute, whatever it is.
In fact,
share our experiences.
Right,
huh?
right.
Share our experiences.
There are surprising 53% want to listen to others. Where you'll get this kind of a crowd, man? This is so interesting.
In fact, it's specifically difficult with folks who are there in sales.
Absolutely. This is such a wonderful crowd, isn't it?
So Krishna, and everybody
Yeah.
was about active listening. So
So my only request is for a change for next 1 hour. I want you to be a very enthusiastic participant. You share your knowledge, test somebody, whatever it is there. We have got 25 people so far, 24. Our number has gone up on this. My request is don't just be a listener. Share your thoughts, no? Don't be possessive about your knowledge. Yeah? Please give us some gap. What do you say, Vinay? This is the only forum. Nobody is asking anything. Everybody wants to give it to somebody.
no. We underquote and over deliver, Krishna. Don't worry.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's get into the first question of this today's session. And the first question is this question. And let's see what is this question. What drives salesperson to go out in the market and sell product or services? You can use multiple choice. What drives anybody to go out and sell? Okay, it's the money, passion about job, I like the product he's selling, awards and rewards.
खा मत तू रख इधर
Yeah, somebody has got a,
कितना शुगर बढ़ता मालूम है तुझे
yeah,
Can someone needs to put themselves on mute.
yeah, I'll put on mute. Don't, okay. Let's see, only 13 have participated. We want some more people to participate in this. What drives any salesperson to go out and do something on this? 15 have participated. We have got 24. At least we'll give another 15 seconds. 17, 18 have done. Wonderful. 19 have done. Okay. 20 have done. One more, we'll see another 3 more seconds and see how much you do. Okay, this is a fantastic result. Before I say anything on the result, I will show you the results and then we'll discuss about this for a few minutes on this. Okay, 65% of the people say it's a sense of achievement which makes people to go out to do this. Okay, those who have shared this sense of achievement, can I request you to share your thoughts on this? Anybody can share. Those who are first, whichever has got 65%, that we will know. Anybody can share. Sense of achievement.
You know, there's that, hi, this is Shamala here.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the person who shared this. You know, for example, I'm not from the IT industry, product or services. I'm an executive search professional. So the sense of achievement for us is essentially to go really and talk about our value proposition, because our model is very different. We go and ask for an upfront retainer from our client. And it's always very difficult to get that, you know, to really convince the client that you're going to follow a process and for him to really put his skin in the game and say, okay, I will give you advanced retainer. It's a little tough, really. So it's a really sense, you get a sense that you've achieved and you've really been able to communicate that, you know, to the industry. Otherwise, it's in the West that that concept is very, you know, sought after, but not so much in India. So yeah, so that, you know, so that's, I get the sense of achievement, you know, I'm able to communicate the value proposition to my client.
Wonderful. Vaibhav, you wanted to say something, Vaibhav? Would you like to say something? Vaibhav, I saw your light goes up. Anybody would like to say a sense of achievement?
Okay,
Yes, Abhishek, go ahead. Yeah.
I had a point to make here.
Yeah.
So I feel that, you know, one is you understand the customer's problem and then solve it, because until unless there's no mutual beneficial cooperation and a win-win situation, you actually cannot have a long-term engagement with your customer. It's not only about selling, but it is also about having an engagement, because you never know. You never know. At some point of time, you're going to meet that same customer for a different product. But if you actually do not convince him enough, then you're actually not going to sell to that specific customer again.
So
that's somewhere one of my points.
Wonderful. William, you wanted to echo the same statement. Can I request you to share what's your thought, Williams?
Well, for me, see, for sales is all about, it's very important that you solve what the customer has in terms of a problem, right? The better you do that, the better relationship you build. It goes back to the point that Abhishek made. Because if you're a sales guy and you intend to be in the market for the longest term, it's all about the relationship. And as you grow in your tenure, these relationships tend to come with you. So for me, it's very important that I solve my customer's problem and I give it to him or her at probably the best offer that can go out in terms of cost, etc. Right? Because that's very essential.
Very good, wonderful. So we had some people who was the next highest was about 50% who said money makes it. Can I request somebody to share what's your thought on money? Somebody said, fantastic, money makes me to do work. Anybody would like to share?
Hey Krishna, this is Ravi here.
Yes, Ravi, good.
I definitely would like to add a point for the sense of achievement as well.
Yeah, wonderful.
Of course, I chose sense of achievement, I chose passion, and of course, I chose money as well.
Yeah.
Sense of achievement comes to me because because I go with the saying that sales is not for everyone.
Yeah.
So definitely, if I'm in sales, that itself is a sense of achievement for me.
Super.
And the second thing is, now the topic is about money. So if you're definitely not behind money, you're not fit to be in sales.
That's fantastic. You cannot be in a charity or something.
That's what I have always believed. And of course, this topic was definitely interesting when it came to incentives.
Yeah.
So definitely, I look forward for hearing more such inputs as to what's running in everybody's mind, because I also design incentive structures in my company, kind of going mad these days. Try to come up with different incentive structures year after year. Even I want to keep my team motivated and charged up. So just definitely would look forward to hear from you all.
Wonderful.
Sense of achievement and money, that's what I believe in.
Super, super. I think only when you're passionate, when your sense of achievement that you get money equally, then you get motivated to do a lot of work. Right? Very good. Anybody else who would like to share some thoughts on this survey, whatever we did on this? Yeah.
I think I'll share something.
Sure. Go ahead, Sharath. Yeah.
So I think for me, money was the only passion. I think I've been pretty much doing sales since the time I've been born with my parents. Trying to manipulate their emotions to achieve any object of desire. So I don't know if that was a passion then, but as I grew out of my college and I said that, hey, I think I need to get my girlfriend something or something like that, and that requires money. And I think that's where my want for want for money increased, and then came the passion for the job. You started understanding that you're probably not cut out for something sitting at a desk, doing something. You're more cut out to listening to people, to influence people in 100 other possible ways. Not just, I mean, let's look at this beautiful forum, and we've got these classiest of people from all over and different walks of life. And I guess for me, that these are the 2 points which makes me say that my money is which drove me first, and my passion came, I think, much later for the job, and apparently I'm doing well.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? One last opinion on this.
Krishna, Sarath has inspired me to take a very contrarian line.
Yeah.
So I'm a reluctant salesperson. I've been a marketeer, a market researcher, many other things, always scared of sales. But when I turned consultant and then found my company, Demand Generation Consulting Company, I realized that what I've been scared of all my life is what drives the world. And so I'm a new convert, and I feel this is the best thing which is required in a world where there's a huge amount of repetition, and DevOps makes it so easy for people to create 1001 varieties of software, and so many folks are turning entrepreneurs. It's finally sales which brings home the backend. So for me, it is the ability to, it matters a lot. I mean, it's something which adds a huge amount of value to not just ourselves, to our organizations and our societies. And as a newer salesperson, I would say that it's the purpose which drives it.
It's the purpose that drives it.
Just to add on something, I want to say that today, although I started with money being the the main reason for it to be there, I realized with mentors and some people like Vinay who has been there, and to tell me that follow your passion and money anyway follows you. So yeah, I think that's happened in real life for me.
And just to add to Sharat's point, what I feel is just to keep up the motivation. Money is actually something which helps you keep up the winning streak. That's the sole reason. Incentives is something which is really important, because in every salesperson's life there are a lot of ups and downs. Things cannot go your way every time. So at that point of time, when there is certain motivation which comes in, so that helps you in keeping up that winning streak. That's the
Wonderful.
reason, incentives.
So there are a couple of things all of you are saying. Money is not necessarily the only motivation, but
Correct.
there are many other factors. And one of the factors all of you are saying is sense of achievement, the pride in doing something, also motivates salespeople to do on this. Okay, let's move on to the next question, because this question will give you some more light on this. Okay, there's the first question. This is question which was thrown by Akanksha. If you are a sales consultant, what do you like? What is your gig? Okay, and then handsome retainer fee plus the less equity, 50-50, and less retainer fee plus the handsome equity. What is that your choice? Anybody can share. All of you, can I request you to participate in the poll? Okay. There's a question which was shared by Akanksha to say, okay, please get some opinion. I don't know whether she has joined or not. If she has not joined, we'll put a recording of this and send it to her. Okay, don't worry. Okay, we have got 18, 29 of them have joined today, 28 of them, 29. Okay, one would have dropped out because of some reason. Good to see 29. Only 18 have answered. Yeah, please answer. Okay, we'll have to go to the next one. Okay. We have got, what is that? 19 have answered. Okay, still undecided. Okay, 20 have answered. Okay, can we end the poll? Okay, like 21. Now I can't end. Let me have one more or two more, then we will do that. Okay, wonderful. Okay, that is somebody who has put any other, if it is there, please put it in the chat. Let me end this poll for the moment. We have got 22 participants doing this. Okay, let me share you the result also. And this is very, very interesting. There are about 36% of the people who say 50-50, and there are 23% says less retainer fee and handsome equity, and there are about 27 people who say this. There are about 18% of the people who say others also. First, we'll give the choice to others. Those who said others, would you like to express something on your own? Anybody? Those who said others, can I request you to say what is that?
This is Neil. I said others.
Yes, Neil, go ahead. Go ahead, Neil.
The reason why I said others is because this is very relative. When you're talking about consultating, when you're quantifying the effort, right? And you're saying that would you like a handsome retainer, less equity, less retainer, handsome equity. No, I've done both. I've done. I don't know if the retainer was handsome enough, but yeah, there was a retainer and less equity, and of course a very ugly retainer and handsome equity. So I've done both. It actually boils down to what your vision of association for the organization is. Now, if you're in a scaling environment where you're responsible for scaling the organization, the entire org of the org. I mean, the entire success of the org is dependent on you. There, would you go with a? I mean, would you initiate your engagement with a handsome retainer and less equity? Probably not, because your retainer would stay constant, where your equity definitely would scale based on the effort that you will put into the org success. Also, if you're working in an environment where it's a multinational where you have limited role to play in terms of how the org grows. So there, of course, going with a handsome retainer definitely makes sense, because your equity will either way grows, whether it's on your effort or on others' effort. 50-50, I have not seen an Indian culture to accept 50-50. It's very Americanized. a 50-50 retainer plus variable structure. If there is anything else in the any other that others have chosen it for, would love to hear that.
Wonderful. First of all, Neil, congratulations. Yesterday, we saw your post. We all felt very happy that our member is speaking at that level. So can we give him a big hand, all of you? Can we give him a big hand to Neil?
Thanks.
That's super, Neil.
Thanks,
Keep it going, Mia. Okay. Somebody said less retainer fee and handsome equity. Would you like to share something? Anybody who polled on this? Anybody who polled on this?
Yeah, CR here. I just would like to add a point there.
Yes, CR, go ahead.
Okay, it also depends upon the circumstances. Like when you're trying to say less retainer fee and trying to say more equity, that means I'm confident as a consultant saying that I can add value, and also looking at the company's current stage also, and trying to give them confidence saying that I can able to bring it to the desired state what you're looking at, right? So it's a confidence for both the people, and it's a win-win situation where you can arrive, and it's like help them to start immediately, right? That's the view I'm just coming out.
Super, super. Somebody said 50-50. There are a lot of people who said 50-50. Can I request somebody to say on this? Anybody who said 50-50? Don't wait. We don't know who is polling, no? I can't call the name. So you have to, if you're polled, to be requested to share your thoughts. Anybody? How much here? It's about 8 people have responded on 50-50. Can I request anybody to see it? No response. What do we do? Vinay, you would like to say something?
I haven't said 50-50.
No, but what is that?
So I suppose, no, I think, I'll tell you what, let me not speak for 50-50, but I'll speak for the choice I had made, which is a handsome retainer and a bit of equity.
Okay, fair enough.
I get that out of personal experience. I've worked with a lot of startups creating sales strategies, including incentive plans. I mean, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in our midst. I can see Shika here and a few others. It's very difficult for an entrepreneur to give away equity. I appreciate that the sales consultant is providing amazing knowledge, which possibly the entrepreneurs or the founding team needs at that point of time. But it's a tough call to say, thank you, but can I have a part of your company in return? So suppose my strategy, and this is purely my opinion, is to still to expect a nominal equity out of the association, but at the same time, handsome retainer.
Yeah.
That's effectively why I tend to choose that path.
Wonderful. But still we want to know who would choose the 50-50 and what is their opinion on that. Okay. Sam, would you like to say something on this, Sam? Ravindra, would you like to? Yeah?
I didn't choose 50-50.
I know, Sam, but I'm only saying anybody who choose. Okay, we leave it in.
Hi, Krishna. This is Shika.
Yes, Shika. Good afternoon to you. Go ahead.
Hi. Good afternoon to you too. Since Vinay, since Vinay mentioned that I've come in, let me just give a perspective.
Yeah.
If I look at the entire poll, right, I see the top 60, nearly 60% of the people have chosen that I would like a reasonable retainer, right? That's how it has come out. And perhaps that comes from the risk-averse nature, of the people, where they know that retainer is extremely important to keep yourself stable. And equity is something that can build massive wealth for you, which we have seen over last 1 decade, what has happened in the startup segment in India, right? So if you look at the entire poll, that's how I look at it, that people still, would look at from a perspective of which stage of life am I in. So when I joined the workforce at that point in time, my needs would have been very different. And hence I would have gone for a very different choice from what I did after 15 years. Right? So I think that also drives a lot of decision making in life, what stage of life that you are in, what is the level of hierarchy of needs that you're standing on, and how you would want to move up. I look after teams of, very young people. At this point in time, to be able to bring them to a level of, this is what is going to get a sense of achievement and not really too much of money is a challenge, right? Their viewpoint is still very, very myopic. They are still at a level of their psychological needs that they need to fulfill. I need to drive them, and money plays a very big part. So if that money comes in form of equity, it comes in form of incentive, but if it comes in form of, any form of wealth creation, they're happy. For people like us, for people like me who've been in the workforce for last 20 years, I have done, a lot of projects, been there, done that. We've seen how much wealth has been created in India in last 1 decade, and lot of us have been part of it. I think we've kind of moved up, and we realize that it's just this much that it will do for us, and now we need more meaningful, purpose of what we are doing today. So that's how I would take it. But after having seen the entrepreneur life, I was the one who actually chose the sensible one of saying, I'll take a better retainer, and I am okay with the, little wealth. So I'm ready to risk a part of it, but I want to be stable.
Fantastic, fantastic. Very nice to know your perspective. Thank you so much.
So I have a 50-50 thought. I'm somebody who started with very less in my hand when I started my career, maybe say 17, 18 years back, and the only thing is that I don't think I dream much. Now, when I mentioned that it would not be right to ask the person who owns the company to, he's being humble in his approach, and he's been like that always. But I have been I have been taught by my mentors to, if you stop dreaming about it, you won't reach there. So asking for something which you deserve might be just be something that you want. The entire reason being there is because a lot of us get to titles of saying that we are the revenue officers, we are the chief face of the company, we are everything. So if we are entitled to all those titles and fancy names that we get, why am I not entitled to an equity?
Wonderful, wonderful, Sharad. Thank you so much. Let's move to the next question. This is something which I wanted to know. Which industry has the best? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. Before we move to the next question, just wanted to understand. So, do we? I mean, there are enough and more people on the panel here who have been doing constant sales hiring for the last decade and over. Do we really see 50-50 as an acceptable trend in the Indian with the Indian workforce? Vinay, Ravi, Sam.
Neil, I have to interject. The 50-50 in the previous question is not about the sales incentive plan, if I understood it correctly. It is to do with
consulting.
Somebody for sales consulting.
Correct.
Yeah. So there itself, Vinay. So the question is, with the Indian consulting diaspora, do we see 50-50 as an acceptable number?
Yeah.
I haven't so far. So yeah, that's my personal input.
So can we have a consensus in terms of what's the acceptable percentage that we have seen across the, over the years that we have done association with the consulting workforce?
Neil, the question, Vijay here, Neil.
Yes, Vijay.
I did want to react earlier, but I know I don't know how much time do we have for this session, because we can continue to keep talking.
Don't worry. 1 hour is what we had planned.
Yeah, so I was a bit sensitive on time. But Neil, to your point, I think all of this comes from what life cycle we are getting into in terms of maturity of the organization, maturity of our own career life in whatever fields we are in. So when do we really, so I'm sure each one of us, and you rightly said, Neil, that this is very relative. I agree with you. And depending on where we are, so for example, on this panel, we said majority of us are beyond 15 years experience, right? So we've seen this in many organizations on how it varies. And hence it is, I think all of us spoke from our perspective, but if you were to look at it from a company's perspective and look at how would they really offer this to an employee, and that is where, to your question, Neil, specifically, I haven't seen beyond 70-30 when it comes to it. Very aggressive organizations have plans which are very different, and Kingship worked with Oracle and he would agree. Oracle had actually, when you join, 3 different plans that they will offer to us. You can choose which plan you want, and that will in a way tell them the behavior you're going to bring in. Are you an aggressive guy? Are you a cautious guy? So that it's kind of thrown open as an option to an employee to choose. So I've seen multiple things like this, but typical Indian consulting, I see 70-30.
Super. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks, Vijay. Thank you so much. Yeah, even my understanding was around that number. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we have the next poll. There are 11 people who have participated. Can I request you to complete this poll? We'll give you another 30 seconds. Which industry has the best incentive structure according to you? Which is about capital equipment, insurance, IT, ITES, consulting, training services, pharma, retail industry, FMCG, and real estate, and any other you want to do. I'm sure all of you have heard, all of you have interacted. What do you think is the best one? Can I request people to participate? There are about 14 people. Okay, there are about 14 people have done. Okay, if you have any other industry, you can definitely participate there. Okay, what is that? Let's see some more. Maybe 25 is what we have done. Okay, we've got only 16, 17. We'll give some more time. Based on whatever you have an industry, please put it there. Okay, we have got 18 people who voted. Let's wait for another few seconds and then we complete this. Okay, this is very, very interesting what we have got. A lovely one. Let's see what is that which people say. This is good. We end the poll for 20 participants who participated. ITES is what 40% of the people say, and real estate 25% of the people say. Okay, retail is very less, pharma is hardly anything, FMCG is very less, and the capital equipment nobody says. But I have a different perspective. There are companies who give a capital equipment. If you sell one machine, they give you 20%. And they also say next year, if you sell one more machine, you get some more money also. Because they say if you retain that customer for a long time, and the customer is going to be very long. Okay? And somebody has said the insurance is very less. But you know, insurance also gives a lot of money because of one reason. There are companies who have decided on the life cycle value of the customer. That means if you do an insurance for 20 years, and there are companies who are ready to give first year so much, second year so much, third year so much, fourth year so much, fifth year so much. So the rep also stays there, and the customer also stays there, and he is going to the insurance guy and say,
how are you, Shubham?
Premium on this. That's what I said.
Ekdam first class. Kya kar rahe ho, Shubham?
Let's look at somebody who actually did real estate. Can anybody say what is the maximum? How much people real estate are?
I did work for real estate. So in fact, of course, I don't have any close connections in retail, luxury, or insurance sectors that I have. Of course, IT, I'm kind of closely associated with IT, ITES. Why, though me being in IT and ITES, why is that I did not choose that it is the best incentive structure we have? I think that's the whole purpose of this meeting that we are having. So is it the best? So that's the only reason I did not choose IT and ITES. And why did I choose real estate? Few of my friends, I mean, of course, I've seen them making really fortunes and out of their targets. For example, one of my friend who works with a well-known real estate company, So he kind of sells, his ticket value is about 5 CR and above. So those are the kind of units that he sells, only for high network individuals. And kind of incentive makes probably a 50 lakh car, 60 lakh car. I mean, that's a maximum.
Ravi, I tell you, I did a training with one of the company called the Central Park Resorts in Gurgaon. Okay, they have a property of 16 crore. One of the guy after our training, whether it is because of my training, is his own efficiency, whatever it is there, he sold one property worth of 16 crore in 15 days, and he got 32 lakh rupees incentive, 2%.
Yeah, I choose real estate too, Krishna.
Yeah.
Strangely, if I negate the IT friends and acquaintances I have a lot more in real estate. There is no connection. It's as much as you can negotiate.
Yeah.
Incentive scheme is a lot more, and it's not specifically employees or salespeople alone, because there are a lot of agents who are associated with any developer. And sometimes the percentages are huge. I mean, I've known people taking back 5% and 6% also, depending on where it is.
And that's true in IT as well, guys. I mean, it depends on the kind of structure you are in. If you look at the big blue and the reds of the world, that's Oracle, IBM, etc. You guys, some business units have a choice of what kind of incentive structure they can put the sales guys on. So either you can be on a leverage plan where you have a certain CTC, and on achieving a number, you get additional. So if you are on a 50-50, you're getting 40 lakhs and 40 lakhs or 50 lakhs and 50 lakhs, as the case might be, as long as you hit the number. But the alternative one is an absolute plan, wherein you get a percentage of the deal. And when I was at IBM, I've also seen 8% on deals. And a usual standard sales guy would have a target of at least $1 million, right? So there is money to be made based on which kind of organization you are in. I've seen startups wherein the percentage is 10%, where it's a SaaS-based startup, you sign a deal with whatever it is, you're getting 10% payout. So it's a function of, I mean, you being lucky and where you are and where they actually, and from there, how much money you make. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody has put one on consulting and training. Can we request him to share his perspective? There is one person who has said consulting and training gives a lot of money.
I guess it's Sam, but.
Sam, if you're there, can we request you to do? Okay, we have not heard from a lot of people. Okay, anybody who would like to say something on pharma, retail industry, whatever you have written, can I request you to share?
I think one other industry that we missed out was automobile.
Automotive, okay. But I put this automotive into cars and two-wheelers and all that. I put it into consumer durable, okay, FMCG or fast-moving consumer durables or something. And I know that Fortune, if they sell Fortuner or something, they get a good money. And there are people who have sold Luxus at 60 lakh rupees and made a lot of money. And I have a friend who sold Luxus to a king of Mysore Maharaja. And he said, sir, he became Maharaja, but I also became Maharaja because of my money. Okay, that's all I would say. Okay, Sam, would you like to say something? Miraj, would you like to say something? Miraj works a lot of in pharma industry. Can I request somebody to share? Yes, Sam?
Yeah, so just supplementing what William said. I think ITES, the industry that I've been exposed to, I think over the period of the 20 years that I was there as part of that corporate gig, it went through a lot of evolution. To that extent, there were a lot of innovative programs and schemes that came in. One, at the start of the year, you will get your fixed and variable pay. But just to keep the enthusiasm going, many companies I've seen had implemented the SPIF program. Then there will be, quarter-specific certain targets to be knocked down. It could be a product-specific target, or it could be about winning over competition accounts, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, these are all over and above your on-target earnings. So I saw that the industry kind of evolved, and of course, there was a lot of money involved as well. So salespeople ended up making a lot of money, so which is one of the reasons in the later part of the years, they started capping the variable pay at 130%.
Correct.
Because suddenly one guy would bring in a multi-million-dollar deal, and at the start of the year, if he's done a good job of negotiating his target, and then suddenly you find himself a 300% achievement.
Yeah.
And then he takes that money and then he doesn't work for the balance 6 months or 9 months. Right?
But he met his numbers, Sam.
He met his numbers.
Yeah.
He met his numbers. No, that's how it is.
Yeah. So there are two aspects. Either he did a good job of negotiating his target, or the boss was a lousy guy in terms of assessing the market potential. But HR and the compensation team, the finance team got involved. And if you notice, many of the companies started implementing 130% or 150% in some companies.
Yeah.
The variable caps. So some perspectives I thought I'll share.
Wonderful. Very good. So we go to the next question. This question is asked by Sam. So we will not ask Sam to participate in this. Okay? All right? Sam, anybody else can participate. What is your recommendation to your startup founder who is strapped for funds to hire a sales guy? Low fixed salary plus the actual expenses, low fixed salary plus the higher variable 30-70, equal fixed plus variable, commission only for the first year, 70-30, low fixed, and only ESOP for the first year. Whatever it is then, just put your thoughts on this. Okay, let's see whoever is doing this. Okay, and then we get the perspective, Sam. Would that be fine?
Yeah, sure, Krishna. I'm not participating as
wonderful,
you
wonderful,
suggested.
wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful. Okay. So before we announce the result, can we know how the session going on? Is it interesting or what is it? Somebody has to say something. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to know, to know the viewpoint of multiple folks.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. So if it is going well, just say yes in the chat box, so at least we get some responses and see what's there. Okay, if it is going well, or you say no, it is not going well, it's good because we don't have any expectation. But just put some chat box and say yes. Good. Kingshuk says. A lot of people are saying yes, so it's going, getting different point. Okay, very good. That's a lovely one to have this, and let's end this poll and let's see what is this. Sam, according to you, there are 40% of the people who say low fixed commission plus ESOP like to performance is the best option. And equal fixed and variable is the second option that the people say. And nobody says low fixed salary. Nobody says only commission, that's for sure. Nobody says only ESOP. Okay, that's a very fantastic one to have. Can we request somebody to say who said about
Can
low
you
fixed?
share the poll results? We didn't
Oh,
see the poll
I'm
results.
sorry. I'm sorry. This is out of
No
my,
problem. No problem.
no, out of my enthusiasm. First, I see the result.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Okay.
Yeah, I could see that. You're omni-enthusiastic. High energy.
Very
I want to
good.
know what is that mushroom you have for breakfast every day?
Oh, don't worry. Okay. Yes. Please put your answer. Some people have not spoken. Harish, would you like to share something? Prasanjit, would you like to share something? Paul, would you like to share something? Yes, Rajesh, you would like. Yes.
Yeah. So my view is, in fact, if there is no fixed component, it will not motivate anybody at least to work for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to engage mature people. And then more than commissions, as one of the panelists, one of the members said, ESOPs linked performance can give them the, thinking of, yes, tomorrow I can be part of this organization. At least my hard work, can definitely be reaped if the organization is successful. Okay. And definitely commissions, without commissions, I don't think any sales guy will be working. But the only thing is, at least if there is no fixed component, I'm sure nobody will be interested to work with at all. Okay.
I agree. Roti kapda, makan nahi hai to roti kapda, everything has to happen on this.
Yeah.
Then you get whatever you want.
Undoubtedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Anybody want to share? Prasanjit? Okay, I'll say Paul.
Krishna,
yes.
I have a question related to what we've been discussing.
Yeah.
I would just like to understand what is everybody's view in terms of having a milestone-based variable pay structure. So let me share this through an example. What if a sales guy is paid certain percentage on fixing up a meeting with the target audience. So we qualify that. So we qualify what is the target audience, and let's say on setting up a successful meeting, there is certain percentage of incentive that he earns. For a tech product, the next milestone could be successfully organizing a demo, and the third milestone could possibly be organizing a pilot. And so let's say, for example, out of the 100% commission, maybe 15 to 20% can be based on these pre-sales milestones.
Yeah, I understand from where you're coming
or her.
Is it only on the result?
Sorry,
or is it only on the result, or is it also on the effort, is what you're saying?
Both, actually.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm talking about a milestone based commission is the result is obviously the final sale, but before that, setting up the meeting, organizing, the pre-sales milestones are equally important because the guy has put in efforts.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that, what is everybody's view? I'd like to understand what you guys think, because we have collective 600 years of experience. I would love to understand what the group thinks.
Yes. So first, we'll give it to Rajesh. Raised a hand.
Yeah. So definitely it is very important. And this reminds me of one of my old boss said, irrespective of whatever the stage of, your leads progress, you should always focus on your input. Okay. And if that is being taken care, definitely the output is taken care. So it always depends on the kind of, as she rightly said, the kind of a quality meetings. You define the criteria, what is your qualified lead, and then if you push it to the meetings or a next level, definitely the rest of the access will take it in a subsequent place. Okay, but that is the crucial place where the inside sales team or the marketing teams who gets that leads to the table, if they get motivated, by getting extra income through those leads generated by them, I'm sure definitely organization will be successful. So definitely I'm in line with her thinking of, you should have a milestone based, incentive structure.
Wonderful. 1 second, let me give Sam, what is your perspective on the survey that we did? What is your perspective, Sam?
Yeah, rather than, because there is nothing like a right or wrong answer, but I'll share a very quick story. It is an actual story based on which I asked that question as well. They were not hypothetical options. So one of the founders of a company, after the production, the software went live, a SaaS company, we were debating various options in terms of, because they were in the first year of operations, and we were discussing and debating in terms of what's a good option for him to offer as a compensation plus incentive for the so-called head of sales who was coming on board. So now, long story short, he decided, after debating all the pros and cons, he decided on a low fixed and certain percentage on the sale being made. Okay, because he was strapped for funds. He said, on a monthly basis, I'm willing to give some fix it. And then based on the sale he makes, I'm going to give a percentage. I don't remember the exact percentage, but percentage of the sale that's coming in. Fast forward 6 months later, the sales guy quit. Okay. Then I checked with the co-founder in terms of what happened. Again, the headline was, he didn't fit into the DNA of the organization. I mean, some vague statement like that I got. Okay. Then I checked with the sales guy. Now, here's how the story went. Now, while he was hired as head of sales, the CEO or one of the founders continued to hold the sales function. And of course, he did the right thing in the first year because he wanted many customers to start using the application, the platform. Many of the deals for which he set up the meeting, the salesperson set up the meeting, then he organized for the demo, he did a lot of the pre-sales work. And then the CEO will come in during the closing stage and he would give the platform free. Okay. So over a 6-month period, what happened was he was getting his lower fixed salary and he was not making any percentages on top of the sale because 70 to 80% of the deals that they were doing, they were all given free to the customer because the customer was promising 6 months down the line, 3 months down the line, he will start paying, right? So you understand the gap there, right? Then it could be a lower fixed with some kind of a variable for the number of demos being done. or the number of successful conversions being done, etc., etc. So that's a story that I wanted to share. So while we can go ahead debate in terms of what the ideal structure should be, but I think we should also keep in context the life cycle of the company, the stage where they are in, and the kind of motivation that the sales guy is coming on board with. So I thought I'll just share that story with you. And by the way, these are all the options that he debated with me.
Wonderful.
In fact, he started off by saying, I'll give only ESOPs.
Yeah. Dishav, your question is also there as a poll, maybe not now, but this is one question we wanted to understand. What is the ideal threshold for the sales incentive to kick in? Okay, 0% prorated to any achievement, 50%, 60%, 70%, whatever it is there. Can I request all of you to participate? Vinay, would you like to share some thoughts on this question itself?
Right. So I think thresholds, I did have something to say about the previous question, but to that. Thresholds is an interesting aspect. I suppose the new normal after the lockdown was introduced, thresholds were relooked, renegotiated, thought of, and stuff like that. But in general, it is a good driver. I have seen in all of the time that I've actually created sales incentive plans that there is a huge amount of drive to get to a threshold. And if the sales strategy or the sales revenue strategy and the board strategy, the CEO strategy kind of match in terms of the number that needs to be achieved, I suppose thresholds is a wonderful catalyst to make that happen. So I am a major supporter of thresholds. I have seen a lot of companies change that tact in the last 3 months to make it prorated because a lot of people were impaired in their ability to sell. Thanks to the lockdown, things changed. So a lot of them came into the 0% prorated, you get me $10, I'll give you 1% of that anyway, kind of a model. But yeah, I'm a supporter of prorated. I've always...
I will show you the result also, sir.
Okay, I have, so I shouldn't be voting. My question.
Okay, no problem, but this is the result.
Right.
Okay, a lot of people, whatever you're saying, 0% prorated to any achievement is 36%. There are people who are saying 50%.
Yeah.
You can ask for the opinion of 50%.
Just want to share a perspective, very interesting, of the 4 clients that I'm working with. 2 of the clients have asked for a relook at their compensation and incentive planning, not just from a benchmarking perspective, but they're wanting to go back to the drawing table because they realize that the world that they're going to move into once the customers come in and once they also start operating, some of the things that you are used to for the last whatever number of years that the company existed may not be relevant at all. The things that you called as fixed, the things that you called as variable, incentives, so on and so forth, even the thresholds, right, may not be relevant at all going forward. So many of the, 2 of at least, that's 50%. 2 of these companies, one company is a 300 crore company, another company is a 700 crore company. They are hiring a HR consultant on a short-term basis to go back and look at their compensation and incentive plans, which tells you that at the board level or at the executive management level, people are looking at it seriously with a very open mind. And I'm sure in the time that will unfold, you're going to see some things that you may not have seen before in terms of policies. I don't know what they are, but definitely I can anticipate that there are going to be new things that's going to evolve. Just my 2 cents.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Vinay, for putting this question. We have a short of time, but let's see what is this. This is one question which was shared by one of our Ravindra. Let's see what is this question. Who should decide the incentive plan? Is it the salesperson based on the capability which he has got, or the manager of the company has to decide? Okay, this is a wonderful perspective. I wanted to know. Ravindra, you will not poll on this. My sincere request. Okay. Ravindra, you're there?
He was there when we kicked things off, but I don't see him.
Okay, no issues, but whatever it is, then let's see. There are about few more participants who are going to do. Okay, we have put a lot of questions there. 14 of them have responded. Let me see what is the result.
Would have appreciated if there is an option to select both.
Ah, Gio Mere Lal, fantastic. Yeah,
Actually, I wanted to select both.
Yeah, kya baat
Then I wanted to explain that when I was a sales guy, I wanted to select, and when I became a manager,
when I became a manager, I wanted to decide. Yeah,
I wanted
I'm
to
still the
decide.
sales guy. The option is
Gio,
one. I want
Gio Mere
90%.
Lal,
I want, yeah.
I saw it
I
when
want,
you
I,
walk
I
away.
want to hold the steering wheel. I want to hold the steering wheel.
Okay, let me share you the result. There are 75% of the people who say as manager of the company should decide on this. Okay, they think given a
Those
chance, salesperson don't want to take targets. Okay.
No, those 75 are not sales guys.
Yeah.
No. When you have majority of people who are 15 plus of years of experience, this is the result what you'll get.
Yeah.
Exactly, correct.
Yeah, but very interesting. I don't know how many of you follow Shiv Kumar on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
He's right now with Aditya Birla, right? He's the ex PepsiCo MD, right? So in one of the webinars he shared that there's a company led by an Indian, I forget the company name and the CEO. It's an Indonesian-based company. Apparently, they are telling their employees to write their own checks. They're asking the employees to write their checks, their monthly salary checks.
ऐसा भी एक दिन आएगा इंडिया में भी आएगा. Okay, don't worry, you'll get it.
Something similar to similar, I think. You know, the Brazilian industrialist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask one question to this. An incentive should be based on what? Total value of the business, new customer acquired. This is Disha, what you asked. I put this question, total value of the business, new customer acquired, retaining of the existing customer, new product sold, generating inquiry, number of customer visited, only visits, new and existing. Okay, what should be the incentive should be based on? Disha, this is your question. You can also participate in this poll. We'll give you the result on this, and then you can share your thoughts on this, Disha.
Krishna, while everybody's responding to the poll,
Yeah.
questions which I don't know if they've made their way into polls, I've put it on the chat in window.
Yeah.
If any time left after the polling.
Oh, we'll do that. This polling is another 2-3 minutes or something. 13 people have participated in this. Let me give you the perspective. Everybody says total value of the business is what it should be, incentive should be given. There is nothing called as effort, and all that. This is what the people are saying. Huh? I have nothing to say. Okay.
But Krishna, usually the variable has 2 or 3 components and they give weightage.
No, but
So,
I agree with you, Sam, but the poll says everything should be on the total value of the business.
yeah, but it was locked to just one option, right?
Yep.
Correct. Krishna, you guided us to that answer.
Yes, he had no other choice. He had no other choice but to take that, because that's like the hierarchy, right?
But fix the outcome actually.
Can you bring up the poll, Krishna?
Yeah.
Please bring up the poll results question.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is every time I do this. Excitement doesn't stop with me. This is a problem.
So, and William, don't you think organizations are now in a more mature kind of a sales? I'm not talking about startups and companies, but don't you think organizations in sales have moved to a lot more structured fashion where there are different parts of this question associated with different roles, and they get their incentives for it, but finally for the sales guy, the guy who revenue generator, if I can call that a role, that is based on total value of business? Sam, William,
question is for you.
No, sorry, I missed that poll bit somewhere. But anyways, to get the gist, I agree. So the end sales guy, like I mentioned again, there are different facets, right? Like I called out earlier as well, whether it's on leverage plan or whether it's on the complete plan. Yes, it is on the value of business. Either it's a percentage or a threshold number that would come. But every supporting function, be it an inside sales or be it just a lead generator or all of them, yes, are measured in different areas and are incentivated accordingly from that perspective. And that's why the previous poll should have been a multiple choice.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to give you another 3 poll, but this is all just to give another 2 polls or something, and just give us the answer. There is no discussion. You'll get the answers on this. Best incentive payout, is it monthly, quarterly, yearly, annually? Please poll. Okay, what's your pulse? Okay, please put. Let's see what is this. This is no discussion, but it's only the results that you will get on this. Okay, another 2 more, and then we pick up the questions on this. Okay, this is super. This is the fastest response that we have got. In 20 seconds, 20 people have responded. This is super, amazing. Okay, let me share you the results on this. The result shows very clearly a lot of people want quarterly. That's about 63% of the people want quarterly.
Because I do quarterly and I think I'm doing the best.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, now let me give you one more poll. Okay, have you heard about this statement in your incentive letter? How many of you like the note saying that incentives are subject to change during the period? I love it, I don't like it, it depends. Okay, so this is wonderful. Okay, I am sharing you the result, which is 17%, 17 people have responded in 20 seconds. A lot of people don't like it because whenever they put this condition, there is always a reduction in the incentive. There is no increase in the incentive. Okay, and that's how the result goes. Okay, and that's why I say a lot of people, 67% are like this. So we have only seen the negative side of this. We have never seen a positive side of increasing on this. Okay, one last poll that I wanted to do. This is for all of you, and during this period, what is the best incentive according to you? Can I request you to say money, award celebration, trip to Olympics in Japan? Huh? Whenever it happens, you'll go there. Okay, and promotion with a hike in salary. And there is also one more last option. One more salesperson is given for you to develop, and you will get a percentage of whatever he does as sale. सोचो क्या आपको चाहिए. This is only for you to select what you want. Nobody wants to go to Olympics here. This is amazing. 9 people.
Everyone knows the condition.
अरे यार, अभी नहीं, next year, अगला साल, 2 साल.
We are a bunch of salespeople, Krishna. We think tactically.
Absolutely. So that is what I'm saying. I've got very excellent results. 17 people have participated in this result. And I'm sharing you the result. Everybody wants money during the lockdown period. That's the establishment of productivity. Okay? Nobody wants award, celebration, promotion, hike in salary. Some people want. But one more person, this is something who wants to get promotion. It's your desire to promote somebody and make him earn. That's a wonderful thing to happen on this. Good. Okay. Now that is what I did, all the polls which I had wherever I got some idea. Now it's for the question and answer session. Would you like to take some questions or answers, whatever it is there you can ask?
I mean, I've posed the questions on the chat window, so they're already present there. I'll kick things off with one aspect which we did not discuss, which is spiffs and accelerators.
Yeah.
Some companies call spiffs as special payouts, special bonuses. Logically, it is a catalyst for performance on a specific given day. I mean, it's a sales performance incentive, I think, funding formula. I think that's what the acronym originally stood for or whatever. But anyway, today, if you're able to sell 500 units, you will get 5,000 rupees. Whoever sells 500 units today in a more transactional business. I mean, one of the companies I worked for before now, we used to use spiff as a wonderful driver. It's extra money. It is not connected to incentive. It's on top of your incentives. It's just a bonus on that day, just to drive performance. It's used. I want to possibly get some opinions on how that.
Vinay, there are some people who have not spoken. We want to hear their voice. Rahul Nair, we have not heard Rahul. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, I would love to say so. Thank you for the opportunity. So basically, what I understood from the market, from my experience and the new normal. So I'm a guy I don't feel the entire conversation we talked about numbers and the money that we'll get from those numbers. But what I feel is like in the new world, in this new world, how a salesperson an incentive structure should be placed is like how much value creation he is making, how much value creation he is making not only to customer but who's to his team member, to collaborate with him to close a deal. So it's all about, because with the number, I know, because what we are using numbers because that is the only thing we can connect to a definite amount of money. But I believe some new metrics, creative metrics, should implement in companies so that salespeople will become more creative, so that he can design better solutions for his customer and also to help his teammates. So according to that creative metrics, we have to decide a new kind of incentive plan. It is a time to change this kind of incentive plan that we followed from the last decade of years. So that's my actually thought right now, sitting in this new normal world.
Very good. Wonderful. Wonderful. Very nice. That is what the creative mind of Rahul saying, that you must come out with creative things. That's good. Okay. Yes. You want to put the next question to, there are somebody who has, Paul has not spoken. You have not heard Akanksha speaking. Kingshuk has spoken. Prasanjit has not spoken. You can definitely ask him.
Vijay is also joined in.
Vijay Dahima has not spoken. Yeah.
Cool. So the next is accelerate. Now we spoke about capping the incentive at a specific percentage, 130%, and that's it, and so on. There are accelerators which tend to be put in a lot of companies. I have seen after you achieve 100%. It's a driver. So 105% of achievement gets you possibly 110% of incentive. Is accelerator sensible, or it just muddles up the process? Your view.
Yes, Vijay, would you like to say something? Miraj, you're there, if you can speak. Prasanjit.
Hi, this is Pranosaj. I just have two observations to make. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
So, coming to the specific question of whether accelerators muddles up the entire thing, the pay structure, or for that matter, the most of the questions that you have asked so far, they are pretty relevant in most of the contexts that we have seen. But one observation that I want to make is that while it is good to have creativity in devising various ways to pay and various ways to promote and bring in a lot of business, at the same time it should be simple for the sales rep to understand. I worked for two organizations in my life, one with a very large market cap and a very stable organization. They always used to have a very stable 1 year kind of a window wherein they won't change anything. But every come Q1, they would change various, various, they tinker with various spips or accelerators, call what you want, even the product mix and how you make money. And the second organization that I work for is a fair to do startup, where the commissions are decided or the sales plans are decided every 6 months. Targets are revised every 6 months. And not just that, one of the interesting things that really caught my attention with this particular startup is they find innovative ways to put more money into the pockets of the sales rep. There are two things that happens. One is, of course, they can retain and attract good talent, but at the same time, they are able to grow their business over a period of time, because the way you treat your employees is the way you would treat your customers. And that is something which is very clearly shown. But at the same time, being an entrepreneur or being a head of a sales unit, how do you make sure that you don't run out of cash? So I think there is a very fine balance in all the aspects that you are looking at. That you should be, the focus should be, of course, to bring in more business, but at the same time, if you're not able to put in more money with the sales rep, if you tinker with your sales plan every now and then, if you make it more complicated for the sales rep to decipher and then find out ways, because we know very well the sales reps is going to find out loopholes and ways in your sales plan to make more money. At the end of the day, he's here to sell more. So unless you are a very cash rich company and you're offering a very fat base, and you're relying majorly on your incentives and equity, I believe there should be some consistency for a fair amount of time. At the same time, there should be some flexibility in keeping the plan. One of the questions which I really liked is that how do you like when you say that the terms of pay plan is subject to change? Most of us voted for no. And the reason is very rightly said that more often than not, we see it becoming difficult to make more money. It has never gone up. It has never positive. So my question to the panel is, how do we make it creative? How do we keep it simple? But at the same time, how do we keep it aligned with the business objectives to grow? At the same time, retain our key star sales reps. So that's my observation.
Wonderful. Miraj had raised a hand. Miraj, would you like to say something? And then we have one question from Dr. Gopal, which I wanted to keep it at the end. Okay. Yes, Miraj, would you like to say something?
No, I think, yeah, so I think only little thing that we haven't really thought of covering, I think, is that a large number of salespeople coming into the workforce today are very, very young. And I think they would really, really like a bunch of gamification added to this entire sales piece. And leaderboards and giving spiffs would be of a lot of interest to sales reps. In fact, I was having a conversation with Neil earlier this year, and we were trying to figure out how to get more meetings. And one of the things that he said really stuck with me. Of course, it's a little difficult now in the COVID world that we are in, is that what he had said is to hire a bunch of sales interns who would go out in the market to do the first level of meeting for you or set up a demo for you. And you incentivize them and you pay them per meeting. And all they need is probably a bike and per meeting kind of money being given to them. So I'm saying those kind of things are a tremendous multiplier effect for a bunch of sales functions through the funnel. I think it was very fairly said that if people are rewarded through the sales cycle and through the funnel, I see that movement and velocity of the funnel also being faster for a lot of companies.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miraj. Gopal, would you like to ask your question, or you want me to ask? Is Gopal there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Gopal,
yeah, you can go ahead and ask the question on my behalf, please.
Okay. Gopal had asked one question, basically, that if there is a salesperson at the store who is influencing, and there is also a lot of effort which is done by the marketing team to merchandise, would you like to incentivize the salesperson who is influencing the customer to make the buy of the product? Is that my question correct, Gopal?
Yeah, see, the question is that there is something called POV, point of viewing.
Yeah.
So it is believed that, at the point of viewing, when you're looking at the products, brand A versus brand B versus C, the possibility of the salesperson influencing you into buying a new brand is high because it's largely commoditized. Okay, and the category that I refer to is home linen, which is commoditized. So how do you incentivize him to, demonstrate the product? and he will claim that he has demonstrated to 10 people and there was no sale. Now, if you say, I'm not going to pay your incentive, then he will say, okay, and he will stop doing that. And because you're a new player, you want that, viewership. Because jo dikta hai, wo bikta hai. Now, how do you trade off? And suppose you pay him, he says you pay him X amount for giving demos. He takes the money, but he doesn't do it. He says, how do I know what's going on? Because it's at a store. And if you are a player sitting in Mumbai and 200 stores may your product is on display, how do you incentivize 200 people at 200 stores? And is there a model?
I'm not sure if anybody can answer this. You'll have to give us some time to think on this.
Yeah, I
know.
I can understand.
Vinay, we are overshot by 20 minutes. What do you suggest?
I just have one thing to say, if it's
Yes.
okay. So the reason why I asked this question in the group was that so a lot of the incentive structures which are floating in the market have a lot of components to it, whether it is like a fix, the amount of revenue which you generate, the amounts of lead, how was your behavior, blah, 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 blah. So there are a few factors which are quantified and a few which are not quantified. At the end of the quarter, if we expect, okay, humne sales acha kiya, but the money which we are getting as an incentive is very less, and the reason which is given to us is something which is which cannot be quantified. Like tumhara your behavior was not good, this is not something which we expected, it didn't go up with the flow. So for a salesperson, don't you think if he or she has put her best to get the numbers, then he or she should get full incentives? I'm like, because I don't know what managers think. I'm sorry, everybody here is more experienced than what I am right now. But how can we tackle that kind of a situation, and what should be the best incentive structure in that case, where I could actually get what I deserve, rather than having those auxiliary terms being explained to me for not giving me the full incentive which I was entitled to.
In fact, Akaksha, I would say there is no subjective thing should be enrolled into incentive plan.
Exactly.
Everything should be quantifiable.
Yes,
for
yes.
them to understand and help them to achieve that. If you put too many complications like this, you didn't smile, you didn't say hello to them, it doesn't work like that. That's my opinion.
So Vinay, could you just give me one example of the structure which you have built for your team, which was more number driven rather than those other passive?
Akanksha, to divide this, now there's an effort angle to sales and there's a result angle to sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I've been fortunate enough to construct teams where I was able to assign roles based on effort and roles based on result. So hence, it was easier for me to implement an incentive structure. So when you said use the word best, right? My performance has been best. Now, best is a very nebulous thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like Krishna said, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Best is in the eyes of the beholder. So market research individual who created a database of likely audience, likely customers, suspects, right? Would believe that she or he has done an amazing job in creating what would be the best set of customers for the company. Then the dimension, the marketing effort that goes in, and MQLs which are generated, those people will say, well, these MQLs are going to lead to our revenue now. And hence, this is amazing. The work I've done is amazing. The lead gen guy who's fixed up the appointment with the person on that list, that person feels so too. And finally, the sales guy, the revenue generator who wins the deal, brings the revenue into the bank, will feel so too. So if you're able to now demarcate each role in this large, long sales cycle into effort and into result, right? Even the effort segments, the boxes which we call effort, have a result oriented to them. And as Krishna said, be extremely objective in your output, right? I'll give you an example. It sometimes might sound crazy, but it works. A market research or a database building individual, a part of the sales team, you need to make 100 rows every day, right? Now that person is driven with a number, with the actual quantitative output. This person is driven to do his work. MQL. Per month, I expect you to generate whatever, 250 MQLs. Lead data, I expect you to fix up 4 meetings per week. Sales guy is straightforward. It's a revenue. You generate 10 per annum or 100K per annum, 1 crore. So at any part of the sales cycle, if you put an quantified output, based or it's result based, it becomes very, very simple for you to implement an incentive plan, right?
Yes.
Then it is 80-20, your total salary is 10 lakhs, 8 lakhs fixed, 4 quarters, so 50,000. Threshold 50%, so unless you do 25,000, any money, and you start making your incentive. So at every stage, put a target. That is more okay. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So one last. How was the today's session? You can put it in the chat and we can end there. Thank you so much. Vinay, would you like to end it at the end of it?
Yes, thank you. Yes, do put it in the chat, and please go on to LinkedIn. I've posted some pictures of us.